guys, James here again, and you find me in a rather snowy Devon behind us with the FX Maverick, trying to kill some squirrels. However, we're going to take a second to have a look at the last of the scopes from Element Optics that I'm yet to review, and that is this. This is the Helix FFP. So this is the first focal plane version. It's only been out a couple of months now, very kindly supplied by the guys at Sportsman Gun Centre. And as I say, I'm not going to call this their entry level scope, but this is the lowest priced, coming in at about £426, I think, at the moment the retail is sitting at. So let's move in, have a look at the spec, see what you're getting for your money, and see what I think. So let's crack on. Okay, so let's get into the specs of it. Now, thanks to the aluminium construction and the 30mm tube, the scope has kind of got that perfect balance between weight versus the adjustments. Obviously, the bigger the tubes, usually the more adjustment you can get. So being a 30mm tube, with the turrets that are fitted on here at the moment, you get 65 MOA of adjustment up and down, and you get 40 MOA for windage as well, which is plenty enough for normal day-to-day shooting. Now, one thing I do quite like about this scope as well is the turrets are very much similar to what you would expect from any of the Element range. They are built very robustly. You can tell they're very, very high quality, and the clicks are perfect. There's no kind of is it in click, is it not? It's a very positive engagement per click that you make. Now, once you have made the adjustments that you wish to make, resettable zero is featured on this scope as well. Now, it's completely tool free. You just have to remove this top cap that you can see here, slide the turret off to expose obviously the turret workings, and then line it up with zero, put it back down, and then going forward you can do 30 yards and you do 4 clicks, for example. Click, click, click. There, all I'm done now, put it back to zero, you've got your zero. Now, that was a really nice feature, and as I say, completely tool free. Now, whilst you have the turrets off, this scope also does feature its resettable zero stop. Now, you do need to use an Allen key for this process, but it's super simple. As I say, remove the cap, and then you'll see the little brass ring on the inside. Line that up to where you want your zero to be. You'll see there's a little indent. Hopefully the close-up will show this a bit better. Tighten it all back down, put your turrets back on, and then no matter what adjustments you make, as soon as you put it back to zero or whatever you set your zero stop at, you know exactly that you're bang on target, ready to go again at your chosen zero distance. Now, a lot of scopes in this price range tend not to feature that, or at least not a version that's that clean. So this was pretty cool to see. So moving around to the side, you of course, well, you would expect it from Element, it's side focus. So there's no faffing around with adjusting the objective like you see on a lot of budget scopes. This one you can adjust from the sides. You don't have to adjust your shooting position, etc. Now, if you're out on a snowy day like today and you can't feel your fingers like me, no worries. You can still grip this turret. It's very tactile, got quite a nice texturing to it. So if you've got gloves or cold fingers, for example, you can still grip and twist. Now, it is quite stiff as well. That's probably because it's brand new. However, it does mean that if you're shooting with a recoiling rifle, it's not going to rattle itself to pieces. Unlike a scope that I reviewed, well, I was going to review the other day, but we didn't. One really good thing as well with this that's going to set it out above some of the others is you can change the parallax right the way down to 10 yards. So you can focus it to 10 yards out to infinity. So you can use this on an air rifle, such as this FX Maverick that we've got here today, or you can put it on your 223, your centerfire 308s, etc., etc. It really is a bit of a do-it-all scope. Magnification wise, this is 6:24. Again, quite a nice tactile ring here for you to twist. Very smooth, no concerns there at all, and it does work very nicely. Now, because it is a first focal plane scope, unlike the original Helix, when you do change the magnification, the size of the ret will appear to be different. That is to ensure that your holdovers do not change. So there's no worrying, right, on 8 mag, I've got 1mm dot holdover for 50 yards, but if I put it up to 12, that's changed to 2 or half, or there's none of that. Memorize your reticule, adjust as you please, and you'll be laughing. Now, one thing that I will say with a first focal plane scope, that sometimes takes off the top end capability if you're shooting long range. So if you are shooting, say, centerfire out to a long range, you might just want to take that into consideration. Obviously, as you zoom and the ret appears to get bigger in your objective, you will lose the bottom sections of the reticule. So just bear that in mind if that is a concern and you're looking at a scope to shoot silly distances. And of course, it's a given, you can adjust the ocular piece to suit your eye as well. So you just twist this. If you're blind like me, you have to twist it all the way back out. If you're normal, not so much. But again, you would expect that from any scope, especially one of this price. Okay, and now for the reticule. Now it features Element APR2D reticule, and it comes in both MOA and MRAD, depending on what your chosen flavour is. Now, one thing I really like about the way that this reticule has been done inside the scope is it's not too fine that you lose the ret against the target, and it's not too thick that you then lose the target against the reticule, something that a lot of scopes do suffer with. They seem to have been able to get that perfect balance of being able to see the ret but without blocking your target, and that I really like. Now, as I say, it's a first focal plane ret, so as you change your zoom magnification, your holdovers will not change. Now, the ret itself has clearly been designed by people that know what they're doing. You've got enough information there that if you need to dope off a long range with a holdover with the wind, you've got a tie there for you to work with. Now, as far as I know, it is only available in the D, the dirty version at the moment. There isn't, again, as far as I know at the moment, a clean version with less information. So, again, something to bear in mind if that is something that would concern you. So, out in the field, what do I make of it? Now, it has to be one of the clearest scopes that I have ever used in this price bracket. Now, I said in my review of the Vortex Diamondback, which, if I get it up, features on my Impact at the moment, that was the best value for money scope that you could buy at that time. Yeah, this one wins hands down. The Diamondback come in about £470. This one comes in £426 retail at the moment. So it's cheaper, it's lighter. I think the light gathering and the clarity on the glass is a lot better. And yeah, I genuinely now believe that this here, being first focal plane, exactly the same, but for like 50 quid less, this now represents, for me, the best value for money that you can get from a scope in this price point. Now, admittedly, it's not illuminated, it's not got this, it's not got that. However, that's where the other versions of this scope come in, and that's why a lot of other scopes cost a lot more, because they feature all those things that you might be asking for in this one. Like with a lot of things, if you want the features, you're going to have to pay for them, and that really, I think, is where the Titan, etc. is going to come in. So, huge thanks to guys at Sportsman Gun Centre for being quite patient with me. Obviously, coronavirus has limited how much we can get out and actually film. So it's nice just to be out here again this morning, shooting some squirrels, doing a bit of pest control, which again is deemed essential, and stopping just for a few minutes just to bring you another review of this cracking scope. I will probably be buying one of these very shortly out of my own money to go on my Impact and my Crown, because, as I say, the clarity through this optic here is quite something. You got any questions, any comments, feel free to put them below. I'll try and get back to everybody where I can. Again, if you want to buy one of these, check out Element Optics. You can find a list of distributors in your region and go from there. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you during the next review.